anytime you have a rivalry that can go either way, it creates something more fun to watch for the fans.
America have won the cup.
They wanted it just as much as we did, every time, no question about that.
Europeans win the Ryder Cup.
You need rivalry. A lot of great sports teams harbor grudges. That's fuel for them.
The United States wins the Ryder Cup.
It was a tremendous time to be part of history, to be part of a winning away team.
And Colin Montgomery wins by 1 hole.
It was magnificent. It was magnificent. It was totally overstated animosity.
The crowds were getting out of hand. You just concentrate on your own match, try to win your point, regardless.
It was almost like life and death to the Americans, because historically they always expected to win.
America wanted it back badly, having lost it in 85, 87, to tie in 89, so we'd won 3 in a row, really. And then, of course, 91 came along.
The Ryder Cup is once again back in America.
And it sort of intensified.
You know, something happens that could stoke the fire for us. We're going to take that and use that to our advantage.
By bringing together nations and people in friendly competition, the Ryder Cup reflects the finest tradition in sports. And while only one team can claim victory, I'll show my patriotic colors for a moment by hoping that the American team brings the cup back where it belongs, right here in the United States.
Now it's time for the 1991 Ryder Cup to begin.
91, I wouldn't say I was surprised, but at the same time I was happy to accept the captaincy. It's a good team. Got some great players. Seve's still around, Olathabo's going strong, Nick Faldo's #2 in the world, Ian Woosnam's #1 in the world, Colin Montgomery's coming along for the first time. So it's a good time to be captain, and I was confident that we could win in America and carry on Tony's legacy.
I'm sure that this round of the great golf battle between Europe and the United States will turn into a classic at Kiawah.
It just so happened that Golf Digest very kindly teed up an article which ran in the issue before the Ryder Cup, and they called it the War on the Shore. So the battle lines were set, really, straight away.
From the ocean course on Kiawah Island, South Carolina, it's the War by the Shore.
The Gulf War had just started. America had really forgotten that we were allies and all the stuff, and it was them and us, and it was a bit, to me, it was like, well, hang on, what have I got myself into here?
The greatest pressure cooker in golf.
Kiawah Island was a tough project to win that, mainly because the Americans, they were desperate to get something out of that match. They were desperate to win. If you look back in 1991, the Americans hadn't won the Ryder Cup since 1983.
I hadn't witnessed anything like that before. The rivalry.
They were complaining about Seve, Olethabo playing too slowly. There were this, there was that, there was rules decisions in that match.
You're switching the compression on the tee.
I don't think so.
Oh, you did?
I'm sure.
You did a couple of times.
What hole? I know that Chip hit 100 compression on number 7. I'm sure about
No, you know what?
And then on number 9,
sure.
he hit a 90 compression. I'm sure about that, Paul.
That week was the most contentious Ryder Cup I've played in. Out of the 10 I played in and the one I captained, it was dicey.
So it all comes down to this putt. If he sinks it for the 4, he wins the match, point for Europe, 14-14 tie, they retain the cup.
I was trying to putt left edge, and there were 2 spike marks, so my caddy, Peter Coleman, I decided to putt it straight to miss the spike marks.
This putt's about 5.5 feet, fairly straight. It is running sort of with the grain towards the ocean.
I was crouched down, and I could see it rolling, and it rolled, and then it did indeed seem to hit something, just take a quarter of a roll, just enough to knock it off course. He threw himself back as if he'd been electrocuted.
The United States wins the Ryder Cup.
And the way the Americans celebrated when they won, you know, I suppose that's what you do. That's how it goes. There was a lot of pressure on them.
To Captain Dave Stockton and his great American PGA team. Dave Stockton, you got it.
The rivalry moved to a new level after Kiawah Island in 1991. And I don't think that's a bad thing. You need rivalry. You need sport at its best when there's a rivalry, when there's emotion involved.
The rivalry was always intense. No question. Nothing going on. I mean, I've got some of my best friends are from the American team. When you're on the course, we certainly weren't our friends then. We just wanted to beat them.
Please welcome a gentleman who has been making this his third appearance as the European Ryder Cup team captain from Wentworth, England, Bernard Gallagher.
I didn't particularly want to be the captain the third time. 1993 was a disappointment. Maybe I was a liability to the team, who knows?
Both on and off the course and behind the scenes, being a captain can be difficult, as Lanny might find out.
There's no doubt Bernard was under huge pressure. There were, of course, coaches that said, again? He's lost twice? 3 in a row? That's not a good look.
This was a big deal for Bernard Gallagher. Lovely fella. And we all loved him. And we wanted to win for him, really, as well.
Match number 1, foursome match for Europe, Nick Faldo, Colin Montgomery.
It was the first Ryder Cup I'd hit the first shot. My partner was Nick Faldo at the time, and I said, but Nick, it's a draw down the first, and I'm not great at drawing the ball. He says, don't worry. He says, I don't like that shot either, so it's yours. And I go, go on.
I was 17 years old at this point, quite a decent amateur golfer, so very much into my golf, into watching the Ryder Cup, a loud Ryder Cup, I remember, lots of noise and energy from the crowd, which you'd expect in New York.
We had a good week. We liked Oak Hill, we liked the weather, we liked the course.
Oh, that was from Konstantin Roca. What a situation.
We had a good team. We had a tough team.
I remember on the Saturday afternoon that Nick Faldo and Bernard Langer were up against Lauren Roberts and Corey Pavin. And I think we were all square playing the last, and Corey Pavin was really dangerous around the green, even with this very difficult chip. And of course, he chipped it in. I can see Lanny by the side of the green, jumping up and down and hollering. They've now gone 2 points ahead. And I remember saying to my wife, who was sitting next to us, I said, look, they're having their celebrations tonight. We'll have ours tomorrow night. And that's the way it worked out.
We were able to turn it around in the singles, which again hadn't happened for a very long time. Just showed the powerhouse of some of the players that we had and the belief that we had.
Well, let's look at the 12 singles matches today.
You could have picked 10 guys and they're all great players.
Before I spoke to the team, we got the pairings for the singles, and I said I like the draw.
Seve had lost his game. I mean, I'm not being critical there, he just had lost his game. So we put him out first. We understood we're going to bed 10-7 down, not 9-7 down, because Seve was, you know, odds on going to lose his match.
And that is it.
There it is.
United States 10, Europe 7. Tom Lehman beating Seve Ballesteros by 4 and 3, and really no surprise in that.
But from then on, our team chipped away and got it.
Mark James.
Mark, James and Howard Clark got us off to a great start. They won their matches against good players.
Howard Clark.
Oh, He's walked away.
Another hole-in-one for the Europeans.
David Guilford. I mean, David Guilford had a great week. He ends up having to hold this putt to beat Brad Faxon across the green from about 10 feet, and he knocks it in.
Unflappable. David Guilford.
That's impressive, Roger.
And then, of course, it gets down to Nick Faldo's game against Curtis Strange. And I thought to myself, if I had to pick one player in the world to hold your putt for the Ryder Cup, it'd be Nick Faldo.
Every TV in Europe's tuned to this right now.
And of course, they hold it, you know.
I think that was the most iconic thing that I remember. Nick Faldo winning the last 2 holes against Curtis Strange, and then Seve coming up to him and just hands on the cheeks, and the two just bawling into each other's eyes. They had a deep respect for each other, and how they pushed each other and how they were able to come together in the Ryder Cup, and you sort of saw that in that moment.
And I said to Nick Faldo, you've just won us the Ryder Cup when you hold that putt. But we hadn't, because it meant we couldn't lose.
Nick Faldo has assured the fact that the USA can't win, can only hope for a tie, and a tie would retain the cup.
We still have to beat them to take it back on Concord with us. Philip Walton is playing in the second last match, and he's playing Jay Haas, a formidable player. And he's having a great day, Philip Walton.
Here we go, Philip Walton.
Philip's probably the calmest guy there, to be honest. And he hacks it out of this rough, and it just makes the front of the green.
Boy, that was just so very, very close to getting hung up in the rough, but that should do it.
It runs up a little bit. Greens are so fast. Then, I guess from 12 feet, he just needs to 2-putt.
It's conceded. Europe with a major upset at Oak Hill today.
I was on my way to carry Philip off the green. It's so funny, I got a bit carried away, to be honest.
Unbelievable.
Well, it was certainly a job done, never going to do it again. It all fell into place. It fell into place in '95 the way it didn't fall into place for me in the previous 2.
The last 3 days of competition were outstanding.
Let me help you through this, Lenny.
Been there, done that.
Because I know how you feel.
For Bernard Gallagher to finally be a Ryder Cup winning captain, it was super. We had a great time, we really did. It was a super, super time for European golf.
It's the best team on the day that will win, and today it's our day.
We'd won in '95 and '97 when Seve was made captain, and won at Valderrama for him. And then it sort of calmed down a wee bit, and then it really rose again in '99 at Brookline in Boston. The Lion's Den, really, and they wanted it back.
From the Brookline Country Club in Brookline, Massachusetts, the 33rd Ryder Cup matches.
It was the first time that the Ryder Cup had been played without our big 5. Lyle, Woosnam, Seve, Langer and Faldo. It's the first time that not one of them had played. So it was a very different feel.
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Mark James.
Going over there, we were written off with 7 rookies. But yeah, it was tough for the players. But I said to them, you go out there and you give it every little thing you've got. You try and be the best that you can be.
On paper, the US team was much, much stronger than we were. But surprisingly, we played extremely well the first 2 days.
Parnovic. Very good 4 here. How about that for 4? 3 of those are one of them. Thank you very much.
10-6 up, going into the singles. We needed 4 points to win. Well, we can do that.
The media was really very harsh on the US team before Sunday. Pretty much they crucified the team.
Mark James appeared to have fought a faultless campaign up to that night. And then the Americans just had the epiphany.
I'm a big believer in fate. I have a good feeling about this. That's all I'm going to tell you.
I found it relatively stress-free until the final afternoon, then it all got a bit more stressful.
Jose Maria Olazabal with a chance to win the 6th hole. And Olazabal, the veteran Ryder Cupper, a 2-up lead, always dangerous.
I had the match pretty much under control. I was well up in the match, facing the back nine. On the last few holes, I have to say that Justin played really well and made huge putts. I mean, he made a few birdies in a row.
Putt looks pretty good, right in the middle of the hole.
And then we got to 17, and we had very long putts. We know what happened. He made that putt.
You could hardly believe it, could you? He has holed everything on this back nine. Could be a half, of course, because Olazabal has still to putt.
Wives, girlfriends, team players started jumping up in the air and actually invaded the green, and they walked on my line.
And I think that is very poor from the American players.
I think that's disappointing. The Europeans have had to deal with the crowd. You wouldn't expect them to have to deal with the American team as well.
I understand the reaction. It's one of those moments that speaks for itself, and it tells you about the Ryder Cup, how emotional can become, and how important it is for us, the players.
This then for the half. America have won the cup.
It was a transitional time, 99. We did hell of a well to get that close. I think Mark James did a very, very good job, and unfortunately we just couldn't do it.
Well, well, well. What a comeback. The best ever comeback by a team.
I was sad for the players, really, because it was hard for all of them. A lot of them had played a lot of golf, and some of them hadn't played as much as they would have liked, which was hard for them, and they were brilliant. I'm grateful to those guys for manning up, taking it on the chin.
They believed in themselves. They knew how close these matches were, despite some fantastic play by the Europeans. But today, I tell you, it's up in the trees. It's fate.
The expectation for the whole team is higher, so they're more emotionally engaged. They want to perform in front of these very emotional, let's just say, home crowd.
Okay, we lost that particular Ryder Cup, but I knew somehow that we had a good youth coming through. It was the start of really the Westwood, the Donald, the Harrington, the Clark. It was a good set to come through for the Ryder Cups within the 2000s. To follow on from Sam in 2002, you know, that was a great victory of Sam's. But to win away from home is always a thrill.
My first Ryder Cup, 2004, Bernard Langer, I've always said, just seemed very with it, seemed to have a plan for everything, try and not leave any stone unturned.
Any decision Bernard had made was not made off the cuff. It was made with a lot of deep thought, and we all had a lot of confidence in him. He was firm. He brought a lot of authority to the table.
He had plan A, B, C, D ready. We didn't need plan B or C or D. We stuck to plan A because it was working.
We went about our business in a nice way, in a humble way, with our European nature. And I think we're hard to hate as a team, or certainly that we were, and that was important.
It was a dream week.
Welcome to the first day morning matches of the 35th Ryder Cup.
Woods and Nicholson teeing off first in the first game against Harrington and I, and you know, we just hold everything. I think they were 8 under that day, we were 10 under, and we beat them.
It's It's there. Colin Montgomery and Broderick Harrington have beaten the powerful Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods.
Hal Sutton decided to play Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson again, and didn't go well.
Well, this ball going way left.
Well, that was not a good swing. Oh, man, that's over near the out of bounds. That ball is 40 yards left of the fairway.
But all of a sudden, the media jumped on it and it became a massive story. And I think that undermined the team and undermined the rest of the American team as much as anything else, which kind of opened the door for us. And we walked in and played very, very well and took advantage of it.
Phenomenal putt there from McGinley.
I got paired in the first morning with Paul McGinley.
He's hit it beautifully.
I hit an amazing 2-iron into the 18th hole. Probably the best shot hit for a long time.
Oh, what a magnificent shot.
It was a great shot that he hit in there, and his Ryder Cup career was launched from there. Lucas got the best win ratio of any of the modern players, and that was his launching pad.
Fantastic iron shot, that.
You go into a golf match, you have to be confident. You have to feel, I can win or I can beat my opponent. And many of us, I think if not all of us, felt that way. And we did extremely well. We went on a beautiful run there for where we were dominating.
Would you believe it?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I remember in the team room on Saturday night, Colin Montgomery spoke, and he talked about not only winning on Sunday, but winning so heavily that we beat the Americans for the next match as well. The most inspiring 1-minute speech from Monty. It was amazing. And what was so great, I think everybody scored a point in that team.
And it's held by Darren Clark from Northern Ireland.
I had never dreamed of winning by a record margin at that point in time. Away, no way, no chance.
This to win the Ryder Cup.
Beautifully hauled, and Colin Montgomery wins by 1 hole.
Absolutely fantastic that it should come down to Monty to actually win it for Bernhard Langer.
That was a record victory. I think it was 18.5, 9.5 or something crazy, which was an incredible victory away from home. I mean, the Americans must have thought, what the hell happened there?
It was pretty obvious we'd done something incredibly special.
That was probably the best victory by a record margin, a young team away from home. That's probably the best victory of all.
Colin, just right in the middle, thanks, mate. Colin, stay ahead. Keep it going again, guys.
Well, once a Ryder Cup winner, always a Ryder Cup winner. Those memories live long. I've got the pictures, I've got the little Ryder Cups, and I live my dream. So that will live with me forever. Absolutely best times of my life.
I liked everything about the Ryder Cup. I always relished the opportunity to play. I didn't feel particularly scared of the Americans. I knew it would be tough.
You got to enjoy the moment, even though it's more pressure than you've ever felt, but you got to try and enjoy it, embrace it.
I always got more out of winning as part of a team than I ever did as an individual. It's a big part of my life and part of my career, and I'm privileged to be part of that history.
The Ryder Cup for me is the greatest team sport in the whole world. It embodies so much what sport is about. Great rivalry, playing for more than yourself, the history. There's nothing quite like a Ryder Cup.